Greetings, my name is Michael Cook, and I am going to cover a number of topics that involve some of the work that I've been doing lately. All my work that I'm about to feature is located on my GitHub project, and I'm going to start off with the utility that I've been working on the last couple of days, the module installation utility, which can be found here under FightingEntropy.ps1. So I'm about to show what this particular function does right now. And we do it in the PowerShell extension. And you know what? I'll close this and reopen it. So once this loads up, I will actually show the components of it. OBS is slowing down this computer significantly, so this is running a little slower than it normally would. Anyway, what I want to do is install the utility. And now it's going to install everything. At some point I will add a functionality to publish everything to a zip file, but I'm not going to do that now. Some of these functions I've taken from, some of these classes here I've taken from other functions, particularly the right theme. I'll go over that shortly. Some of the changes that I've made, particularly the colorized theme here, that stuff, and among other things. And it also can't really talk about it without showing the output. Effectively, this is controlling a whole bunch of stuff, and I try to come up with a note or information about the component and whatnot. So anyway, if I go to module now, I'll see some of that stuff there, right? And now I just installed that, so I'm going to hit F5, and there's all the keys from that, right? So as I've been developing this, it's been quite difficult for me to be able to balance all of the numerous things that I've been trying to do. But anyway, if I go to module.os, right, it'll show me some information from the operating system. So if I say output, right, now it's going to show me various properties. Let's say that I want to see all of the output. Now, there's another way to do that. That's not important. I guess I took that method out. Anyway, this is taking information from multiple sources and being able to put it to a similar object. So some of this are these environment variables, some of them are regular variables, some of them are from the host in PowerShell. So if I say host, it's going to show me some of that information, and it's representative of the stuff right there. Or if I say PS version table, that's the same stuff you see there at the bottom. Anyway, what else is there? So then there's also, like, some of these properties are actually covering more information. So the OS property is covering more information. So if I go to root and I see all that, say list. So some people might not realize that there's a huge difference between the information right here and the information right here. What is different about it is that I'm adding like a pseudo class for each individual file. So the name of each property actually goes to its sub-property. All of these properties have similar information. See, Now what about, I want to see the manifest. So the manifest is basically, we'll say format list, right? So it's putting some of this stuff out to a string format. And then with this particular overview, I can see all of the files that the installation covers. And then I can also say list, select, object, all. Well, there's more information there, but I have some of it like being hidden. Why don't I cover that actually? So this information here, but that should be showing. Aha, okay, that's what I was looking for. So the information's there. Apparently it's filtering it out, but if I do this, now I can see all of those hashes. All of these files have a specific hash value. So if I change a file and then the hash doesn't match up, then basically this utility will be able to tell me that, oh, I gotta like update a particular file or whatever. Anyway, that's that part. Now the registry. And now the particular properties in the registry didn't exist until I ran the utility, right? So So there's all the information that I just populated in the registry. Now I can throttle this actually. I can module remove. And it'll remove all of it. And I can reinstall it without having to recast the entire method. Or without recasting the variable. So I realized that this is pretty I can't think of the term right now, but it's useful if I want to build a graphical user interface, right? I want to build a graphical user interface so that all of this is controlled by the graphical user interface, and everything that you see in the console could be seen in the graphical user interface. It's literally pulling all of these files from the GitHub site. So if I were to put them all into a zip file, it would reduce the amount of time that it does this by a lot. But regardless, say I want to use that color theme a little bit more because I spent a fair amount of time making that smaller and compact. So say 0 through 16. Oh wait, I wanted this to do that. So see how it's changing the colors and whatnot? The colors are slightly different. They're going to be, the variations of the color are going to be slightly difficult to see until you see that I went through and like inverted the colors around. I could easily change the font color if I want to, and you know, all this is useful if I want to set up like themes and stuff. So some people might not see the difference between that and that right off the bat, but the theme is inverted, right? And I can also, I have another theme right there. This is what used to be the color a couple years ago. But anyway, that's all good and well and dandy and stuff, but what I wanted to show was import module Fighting. So now it's loading the heavier component that it just compiled after I installed all of it. So one of the utilities I want to show off is this one right here. I still have, there's an error that's coming up that will come up, but it'll still load the function. And what this does is effectively it turns PowerShell into like a Wi-Fi catcher, so you can see all the Wi-Fi access points and stuff. So I can like connect to them and everything, and then I can refresh it, and then refresh in PowerShell, and also refresh here. And anyway, yeah, you can see the authentication, the encryption, the strength for each network. All that is able to be seen in this particular utility, right? But you're actually being able to see the hidden networks as well. And you can filter this. So market 32 or direct. So all that, you know, if I had the password to that, I could connect to that if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that right now. Well, yeah, I can refresh it and it'll repopulate everything on the list. Some of the items won't be there, some of them will be. I don't know. I came up with a lesson plan that covers that utility to some degree. Anyway, another utility that I want to show is this one. So I made this when I began to work on this when I was working with Kenneth Yates from Business Products Company. Alright, so then all that information will allow me to save it. If I didn't have some of that information, it would not get past this point. But since I do, it will. And I can double click on it to open it up. I want to create a new service. Say replace motherboard, server, labor, rate to replace motherboard in a server. Say device. Now I have to add a device. Server, Dell, PowerEdge, R410, serial CD. That's what I want to set. And then I have to search for the client. And then I can click on that, add it that way, and then click save. Alright, so it's been added to the database. So let's say that like the store owned it and I wanted to like fix the particular thing or whatever. Looks like I got to get the display tip to work again. And also the font is a little big. But these are all minor issues. Say new. So I have to add a client, a device, and a service in order to create an issue. There we go. I can save it. I'll send her in the description. Okay. Server has no video. Troubleshoot. Provide diagnostics. So I'm doing this a little bit backwards, mainly because I'm instantiating or making something up about this particular incident. Some of this information I need to make it so that it is more readily viewable, but this has sort of been on the back burner for a while. If I want to add like purchases, I can do it through here, and then the logic is there to add it. Same with a bunch of this other stuff. However, this all went on the back burner as I started working on other utilities, which are featured in the README on the site. All of these videos showcase some of this utility in action. Well, some of it's older than others. Not all of this is most pertinent and whatnot, but that video shows me extracting ISOs from an image that shows me installing server stuff, and this one right here is this took me many months to put the utility together that does that, and it basically uses everything from the module. And at some point I will expand on what I did in that particular video, but effectively what that video right there it encapsulates virtualization, application development, and networking, and there's a lot of it in those videos. And then there's my resume. Anyway, what did I want to show? So module, get FE module. So this is the full version of the utility, and as you can see, it's not the same version that I just installed, but that's because the files need to be updated. So at some point, once I'm ready to update the actual version of the files, all of these current files will be an older version. But if I go into module, not manifest, see how the manifest is different then? Yeah, it's not nowhere even remotely close to as much information. Anyway, if I go to roll, right, some of this information was able to be seen with the other version. So some of that information, I've made it more readily available to the module, the installation module. So the installation module and the actual module itself, they're two different components. The installer has to install the module, and it can also remove it, but it'll also be able to verify or validate its integrity, so it wouldn't be too much different from SFC scan now. I'm not going to run that utility right now, but the same idea is it's going to validate all the files in the module or whatever. And I'll close that for now. And then let's see. That's going to get the network controller, which I haven't worked on that in a while. Some of the stuff takes a little bit longer than it should. I think that's what I spend a lot of time doing, is making it so that whatever it is that I am building, I want it to like take the least amount of time. Otherwise, people aren't going to use it. Yeah, and it's obviously it's broken. You want to drive, process, get process. Okay, so you're getting some information that you can get from the basic utility get process. Service. Service too. So that's a lot of services, right? This portion of the utility goes with this. And I haven't finished this, but this is a portion of what Black Viper, Chuck Sparks, or Charles Sparks. As you can see, the toolkit works in here. But I've yet to finish this utility. It's not anywhere remotely close to done. Same with that one, and I'll try running that again actually, because it'd be useful to show some of that, the information that comes back from that. Could very well be, yeah. I'll have to fix that at some point. But that's a very minor portion of the utility. The fact of the matter is that this utility works just fine in the previous version, so I have to like short up everything. And the last thing I wanted to show is this right here. So I'm not totally sure if this is going to load or not. Maybe it will. And sync. Window. Show dialog. What the heck? Can't remember why it's not open. Oh, slot beginning bolt. Nice if I can get it to load. What the heck? Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay, there it is. All right. So, yeah, it's not quite done, but basically this is a utility that works with well, it's not really doing anything. I think it froze up because I don't know. Let's try it again. Yeah, so it's not coming to the front of the screen, basically. I don't think I have any of the zip files. Anyway, so there's two portions of the utility. The main portion of the utility, I'll have to talk about all this stuff in a moment. Anyway, it's supposed to get all the event logs on the particular system and then export it to like a zip file. Now, I still have to finish this, but this utility takes a really long time, and being able to make it so that it still works while I'm able to drag the window around and like, you know, change stuff, or auto threading, so it'll calculate like how many threads it needs based on maybe it crashed. Yeah, it did. Okay, so clicking on certain things causes it to crash. You know, designing the way the utility looks isn't as hard as getting like the functionality behind the scenes working the way you want it to in the thing. So at some point the console is going to be integrated in this, but yeah, that requires quite a bit of finesse. Here's what I can do. So much like before, you can see all that information there. Sync thread, thread controller. That's a sub control actually. And then control. So this actually is sort of a pain in the neck, being able to get that to work. All of this is the code for the back end of that utility that you just saw. Now, if I had access to like more powerful hardware, I would have probably had this done a long time ago, but I don't. So, and also, like as you can see, anytime that I like refresh the utility, it shows that the thing is still running. Let's show off this one. Actually, I think I might already have that. Sync. Let's see, project. System. No, I guess not. Okay. So now I have the project portion, and that basically kick-started the utility that I wanted to show off here. System project system. All right, so that system snapshot. It's going to show information like a GUID. It's going to show a display name. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. It's going to show the snapshot, the start time, the computer name, the display name, GUID, and then the elapsed time stuff, and BIOS information. And then you can see some of the stuff about this particular device there. And then operating system. And then computer system. So you're able to see a lot of the stuff that you could see if you use like get sim instance, but it's more compact and more focused. And then processor. You see how many processors I've got. I've got one. And let's say I had multiple cores. Well, it would show all 4, or it would show however many I had. And like you're getting like a real brief look at what it is, and then you expand it out, and then you can see that. It does the same thing with the disk actually, and network output. But then like if I want to go in a partition, I can see that too. So as you can see, like as like I'm fiddling around with this stuff, all of these properties are basically like a different building that I've made, right? And like I want to be able to stay within the building while accessing other components of the utility, and I got to make it like optimized and stuff. And then like more to it than that is making it so that if you look at it, it'll make sense. So the project, system, disk, output, partition, output, right? And say I want to see like the first one. There it is. Or the second one. Or the third one. So, yeah. Basically, this utility is pretty complicated. Not a lot of people are gonna like understand just how much information goes into this, and how I'm like trying to make it I don't know, usable like from a graphical user interface. So let's say I want to go to system.network.output. All right, so that's going to it's not showing all of the adapters in the system. It's only showing one that has like access, or it has an uplink or whatever. And then log providers. So there's all that. And then so all that information helps to collect the logs. And then I won't run the entire thing. What did I get to? I got to sync in. All right, so say files. So those are all the threads that it was able to make, and then it created a GUID, and then it made a bunch of folders within it and whatnot. So if I go to sync, project, base. So as you can see, I have like access to all of that stuff too, in a similar manner to how the system information was collected. And I go to folders. Yeah. And then if I want to run a script on each thread, then I do this, and it'll pass a thread to each one. Oh, the property something cannot be whatever. All right. And then I'll add the script to each one, and we'll begin invoke. All right. So this will take a few minutes. right? Of course, there's really nothing I can do about that happening. That's not my fault. But yeah, this is basically, it's going to give me a rundown of how far along each thread is in the process. And now, like, I want to add another field to it where it has an actual percentage for each thing. But as you can see, it has a stopwatch like item. It's not actually a stopwatch item. It's using a different manner of knowing how long it's been running. And then once it's done, then it will continue on or whatever. So while that's running, I guess I can talk about like what's going on in the installation here. So the installation that I've been tweaking, all this stuff is available from my site, and it's available from like running that. That's not what I started off the video with is the older version, a newer version of what this script right here does, right? And then here I can even go back over to this and then continue to play around with it. It is going to be a little bit slower now because I'm pretty sure that I'm taxing the hell out of this laptop. But you know, being able to expand on some of these properties and classes and stuff is pretty important. I've structured it basically in an identical manner to how C# is written. It's because it's the same thing. I mean, it's not the same thing as C#. Don't get me wrong. It is a much simplified version of C#. However, it is far more dynamic and it doesn't crash as much, and it can be basically, it can integrate actual C#. You can use natively written C# code in PowerShell and manage all the stuff in it and whatnot. So module.write one cool guy 5000 Jeffrey Snover told Red Rover to move over. Let's say that, like, Jeff Snover, the guy at Microsoft that like pioneered PowerShell, then he's like, I don't like that color. I like it. I want to see a different color. I want to see a cooler color than that. So anyway, all the numbers there are translating all that stuff there. And let's say, oh, I want it to be evil. So we'll say 7. I don't know. Let's say I want it to be successful. I want it to look and smell like success. Or let's say we just want it to be like information. Or let's say we want it to be verbose output. Could also be feminine. Or it could be a warning. Or it could just be plain, plain white. I think I'm like using a variety of manners to say something about the guy who basically pioneered PowerShell, allowing me to write all this code and whatnot. Anyway, I'm going to collapse the theme wrappers and then talk about some of these classes here. So for each property in module.os.output.property. Every single property there. You see, you notice how like it is actually still running pretty quickly. It's because of the way that I use these classes together. You're getting like a factory output. So if I go to OS, right, and I see the output there, well, each of those outputs are their own table. So if I go to output, each of those is one of these properties, source index property. I want to say show all, then I don't know, I haven't added a function to do that. Anyway, rather than to insert like random information and whatnot, I figured why not do that? Because it makes it look cooler. Computer is bogged down quite a bit right now. So another thing to consider is that when I go around like naming some of these properties, I want it to be simple to remember, and I don't want it to conflict with any other type of property name. And that is a pretty big challenge in and of itself. And anyway, yeah, I should probably show off like that, actually. So the utility, when it installs itself, it allows the user to be able to double click on the thing and use additional utilities. At some point, it'll be a GUI that kind of like maps out all the components of the module, and it'll be basically a lot like Glare utilities, or I don't know. It'll be a while before it gets to that point. Regardless, as you can see, it says 2022 10.1, but then you see down here, oh, it's 10.0. That's because I haven't quite fully released this version yet, because I still have to go through all the stuff and make sure that it all works. And then, as you can see, some of the stuff, it's very similar to how it shows here, right? Pretty similar information. Some of it is different though. For instance, now I've added the square brackets and the pi symbol where you don't see it there. But that's a rather small change. The large changes are not necessarily the arrangement of stuff, but also like OS. Where'd it go? Come on, dude. Oh, there it is. It's going to be kind of hard to see. I want to do this, actually. So basically, what this is, all these string representations of that stuff there, it's concealing other properties and information. And in a lot of scripts out there in the wild, or programs in general, you're not getting a really in-depth look, or you're not able to tell by looking at it that it contains more information. You know, so some people will see that and be like, oh, well, it looks awful or whatever. Some of that is able to be done on this side. So module.classes, oh, it shows the classes or the functions or the graphics or the control. You know, I can do similar things on this now. Where is it? Oh, I guess I forgot to add it to this part. Alright, so list. As you can see, all that information is now able to be seen here under one function, or property rather. And you know, this is actually pretty difficult to conceptualize. But basically, to be this efficient and to have so much functionality from the same variable, it requires thinking about and considering all of this stuff at the same time as I'm building it, because I don't want to have to like run a heavy script every single time that I want to use a different aspect of the program or the utility. I want it all to be somewhat available in a very similar way to how Microsoft has their assemblies set up. And now I can see the properties for the registry. And then, like, if the key exists, then it'll say it exists, and then I can like indiscriminately install it and then uninstall it. You know, all that stuff is pretty important. But let's see how far along this has gone. Yeah, see, it's not quite done yet. Now on the other laptop that I have, this would have been done like many minutes ago. I don't really think that this is an accurate reflection of how long it would normally take on this particular computer to collect all the event logs. But that's what it's doing. It's collecting like, I don't know, 400,000 event logs or something like that. The last time I checked, that's how many it was. So if I use a portion of that information here, so go to here, maybe it's on here. It's going to give me all the logs, the log providers' names. That's a lot there. 492. So now that I have all those, then I can kind of like go through this and get some of this information here. I have a function that gets all those. as you can see, you know, the colorized theme thing works here too. Oh wow, why is that not working? Oh, it's because I'm not running it as administrator. Runs pretty snappy in PowerShell ISE. But anyway, get event log record. Config extension. So can't remember if that's correct. I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Oh. So it's sort of like doing the same thing as this right here. So you can see that one's done, these two are still going. And this isn't giving me any progress whatsoever. Oh wow. I'm an idiot. Actually, hold on a second. Let's do this. So that'll give me some, oh, damn. Oh wow, yeah, my math was pretty off right there. Why is that doing that? Well, a million or 10,000% is pretty good. You know, I think I obviously did something wrong. And now what I want to do is say records equal config 0 config count minus 1. That's what I want to see. All right. So the utility that I showed earlier goes and collects all of these, as well as some information about each one. And then also it gets the output. So records 0 dot output. Nothing there. And that'll get them all. Show all, everything. Anyway, that's still going. Normally this only takes like 5 to 10 minutes on a machine that's like not running 12 things at once. But yeah, I mean, I can like go into it even more. All right, so say that I ran this, right, and then each one, it's not getting the output of each one. Oh, it shouldn't be doing that. It's because it doesn't like those upper score characters. Anyway, let's see. Get it in all right. Sort of like both instances are trying to access the same information right now. Anyway, if I were to open up Task Manager, you're gonna see it yet. As you can see, the processor is like has a full load right now. I don't think it's going to blow up or anything like that, but, you know, OBS is definitely taking a huge chunk away from this, which I guess that's fine, because I wouldn't be able to make the video if I didn't have it running. Now, VS Code is actually incredibly light on its feet. It is using some resources, but it's really the PowerShell engine that's using most of it. Anyway, as you can see, it's still like collecting information. Wow, that one record's finally done. So, say records 0 output. Oh boy, look at all that. See, so that's what this portion of the utility is doing right now for all of the logs on the system. You know, let's see. Records.count. It's 492 times, so I only did that once out of 492 times. Now, the truth is that not every single event log or config file is going to take that long because they don't have any entries. But that one was the application one. Yeah, so there's a lot of events in that. See how there's 32,560 events. And what I can say is that this system has over 400,000 on it right now, which it's not great to have that many events in a history, because then if something happens and you have to like sort through it all, it's going to take you like hours upon hours upon hours to collect all of this information, right? Even if you get it on a faster computer, you still have to sort through all of it. And that's why I started building this program, was to, well, mainly because somebody was using some really sneaky software and attacked me. I write about it in some of these files here, but I'm not going to talk about some of that stuff, and I should probably take some of it down. Anyway, I'll examine this one. Oh no, I can't, because it's so big. So 3 out of 4 are done. That's good. And now I got this. Oh wow, look at all that. Stop. I am trying to get it to stop, but it's just continuing to go. Oh wow, look, it's like 98,000 lines. That's not that big, right? Yeah, so like I had to put all this information together back like what I'm absolutely certain of is that someone used a rather advanced CIA tool to like attack my computer and my laptop, and that some of these files, they weren't the actual legitimate files at all. But if I start talking about all that, then I'm going to get somebody coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, well, how do you know what you're talking about, etc., so forth." Well, I know what I'm talking about. I think that some of these files were subjected to an attack that was so sophisticated that it allowed malicious code to run right through undetected. Yeah, something in the Central Intelligence Agency would use. You sit there and look at all this information for hours and hours and hours like I did, but you'll never get closer to like what they did. And like as you can see, well, CBS.log confirms that components are being swapped in during build time. And then that's when I realized that I needed to build this utility so that like I could get all the event logs off of the system, and then like, you know, try to figure out like what is the least common denominator, and like what stands out. And what I found is that well, I'm gonna be like spending a really long time looking through like 90,000 lines of information, unless I made a program that sorts it all, which is sort of what this does. So like, but it's not sorted by time created. Well, yeah, it is actually. So anyway, I'll explain what this is doing. It's basically going through all the entries in records.count. Right, 492. Records are all there. Let's say I want the names. So that's the original information I started out with, and then use this function to be able to pipe it over, and then get the extension of the class. So the default class has a lot of this information, but it doesn't. It's not exportable. You're not able to get it to like export from the system. Not in a format that's consumable anyway. So this is a lot of information. That's a lot of information that's being thrown right at the user. And you know, this information goes back to September 17, 2021, right? That's where some of it goes back to. I'm pretty sure that some of the information goes back even farther than that, but you know, I think that's restart manager. Aha! So finally, sync.project. Oh wait, I didn't run the thing yet. So I ran all that, and now I can finalize the information. Right? So yeah, it's not supposed to take like 40 minutes, but obviously the computer's being taxed quite a bit. And now I can expose that thread, and the thread's been returned, so then I can go back into sync.control, and then as you can see, like reserved 0, allocated 0, projected 0, disposed 0. Some of this information is it's all using the same run space basically. For sync control.factory. And then it's also using the same session state, which is what all that information was at the very beginning. What if I also sync dot console? Where is it? Status output. So as you can see, some of the information isn't like going back into the thing, and I gotta like fix that. But each thread has its own information. See, there's a ton of information that I'm sorting through right now. And this is what you have to do to be able to like go through like mountains of data like that. You know, the people that work at Microsoft probably like know what the hell I'm trying to do, but I don't know how to like explain it to other people without overwhelming them. But anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the information out. That's not good. What? Oh, there we go. All right. So, okay. So now I got all that information. I have all of the log information there. It has everything. So it actually processed all 490 some odd logs and stuff. But now I want it all to be sorted by time created. I want all the logs to be in one continuous stream. So like each log outputs itself to its own log file. But what I want is the content of every single log file so that I can sort it all chronologically, right? What happens when you do this is that it makes the data a lot more consumable to a person so they don't have to cross-reference. Okay, so in this event log, it said this at this particular time, and then like, then it'll say, oh, well, 3 days later, it also accessed it. And it's like, all right, well, what if I want to look at everything on a second-by-second basis? Well, now I have that. And it goes back to the original time that I installed it on this particular system, which I didn't use this particular hard drive for a while, so that's why it goes back to that long. But swap.count. Yeah, see, 400,000 logs. And this processed 32,000, and it took that long. And then this is nearly 400,000. Anyway, now I can sort it all like this. I'm going to close that because I don't need that anymore. I think I exhibited plenty of information so far in this video. Oh boy. Now, I'm not gonna like run the rest of the utility, but what I will do is say that there's a lot of functionality that is there. Sync.project.base. As you can see, like this is giving you information on how long the project has been taking to run. So there's a lot of different information actually. And I have to like shore all this up because there's no way that any human's going to be able to like want to look through all this information. And that's the other part of my job that makes everything that I'm doing a lot more difficult to do. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for this particular video. I hope you liked what you saw. There's plenty of work for me left to do, but as you can see, there's a lot of functionality in this particular program. If I go to project.base and I go to folders, there's nothing in there. In there, master, threads. Yeah, why didn't that show? we go. All right. Now I can convert that back into a JSON object, or convert it from a JSON object. And then I get all the information that I would see in the utility. Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. Hope you liked what you saw. I realized that I don't even know how long of a video it was. An hour and 22 minutes? Yeah, I guess it's not that bad. If you like what you saw, feel free to comment or thumbs up if you liked it. And take care.